Going out like a sucker, no way.
I'm nice right now, man. I feel good.
Again, Bazar Sports Radio, KVR Austin, Obazarski, Matt Hand, Zach Dolans. A lot of stuff going on in sports. It's another great semester here.
Yeah.
And we got a question from Justin from Fort Lauderdale. Matt, what do we have?
All right, so Justin from Fort Lauderdale asks, why are the Vegas Golden Knights so good at home?
Well, let's first off start with they have the best home record in the NHL. 18-2-2. Currently second best team in the league. They lead the division by 7 points. However, there's one thing that is difficult about this question. Their second worst away record in the Pacific Division at 11-8-1.
Right, so we can't say that they're so good at home because they just are a good team. Because clearly, by the road record, they're not the best team in the NHL, and they're not the second best team in the NHL. What we can contribute their home winning record to is the fact that they are in Las Vegas, and I think that's a big part of it because teams are going to come from out of town and they're going to want to party. I mean, it's Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps. They're going to go and they're going to party, and they're not going to be ready for the game the next day.
Right, and I want to go off on something. Do you think this could lead to an NBA team moving to Las Vegas? I know we see the Raiders moving.
Right, the Raiders are...
Right. 2019.
Yep. So that's coming up. An NBA team, I don't see why the NBA wouldn't want to do that. I think it's definitely a great option for them. There's a big market in Vegas. A lot of fans love to go out, go to games there. So I definitely think it's possible. I don't think anytime soon, but perhaps in the future, yeah.
So here's where I'm going to disagree with that. So the T-Mobile Center was just built in 2016.
Right.
You current home of the Knights, you know that, Matt.
Yep.
And you have that new arena. They want to put a team in as soon as possible. I think we'll see one in the next 5 years.
I'm going to agree with you with this. I have multiple friends who are Kings fans. I'm from LA. So there's a lot of people that go out to the games from LA.
Same thing with the Raiders.
Same with the Raiders. They will all go out to Las Vegas. It drives in a lot more revenue for the city. It drives in a lot more revenue for the team, especially because they're in Las Vegas. There's just so much to do there. It's such a unique city compared to everything else.
All right, but Seattle's been trying to get a team back ever since they lost one. They still don't have a team. People are arguing that they should be the next team in the NBA to get a team. Why would Vegas get a team before Seattle?
Because of the market. You see the Knights winning.
You see
the Raiders, when they move, you'll see them winning. That's 2019. Like I said, 5 years. By 2022, 2021, 2022, by the time we graduate, I think there'll be some talks of them moving a team. If the Knights continue winning, the Raiders come in and they have a very successful first season, you will see an expansion move in. Or a team move from one city to Las Vegas. What's our next question?
All right, next question comes from Zach from Westport, Connecticut. Zach says, please talk about or discuss your thoughts and opinions about the entire situation surrounding the fight between the Clippers and Rockets.
Zach, you want to take this one?
Well, there's a lot that was going on here. It was basically it started, I believe, between Blake Griffin and Chris Paul. Obviously, old teammates. Chris Paul, this was his first time back in Staples Center since being traded to the Rockets. So there's a lot of tension there. A lot of people don't like Chris Paul for leaving. And the funniest part about this to me is that it was a fight between Blake Griffin, 6'10", Chris Paul, 6'1". It's like, was there even much going on?
Right, you have to remember, I know they put on the same team, but when Chris Paul moved to Houston, the relationship between him and Griffin really never flourished like he did with other players. He really wasn't the best of friends with Griffin on the Clippers. So you saw that could be a reason why he left to begin with, but the bumping heads of D'Antonio, Rockets head coach, that was one thing that led to it. You had the goaltending call. Honestly, personally, I think that Chris Paul was more upset with the referee's call than he was with the actual Blake Griffin's actions.
I agree. I think it was more of just letting his emotions out. Obviously, it wasn't professional the way he did it, but it was due to the referees, at least from what I saw.
Yeah, and you saw after the game where they met in the locker room, secret hallways.
Yeah.
And NBA is going to investigate this scenario. We'll see what takes place from here. I don't see much escalating in the next few days, but we'll find out soon enough. Next question.
All right. Alex from Dallas says, who do you think will win the Super Bowl?
Patriots. Sorry. Tom Brady plus Bill Belichick equals Super Bowl.
Well, Super Bowl lost to the Giants twice. Ooh.
I mean, you could say that Tom Coughlin is part of the Jacksonville Jaguars organization.
Uh-huh.
So we could, argue something with that. But hold on. Let's talk about this for a second. He's going for number 6. You have to remember that.
I'm
going for 6.
I'm aware.
Patriots have appeared in the AFC Championship game each of the last 6 seasons. 7, including this one. Tell me that's not something.
I mean, obviously they're a great team. LeBron's been to the NBA championship for the past 7 years, and how many has he won? Like half of them.
Okay, true, but 3-3 in that time span, which isn't terrible. But Tom Brady has the second best QBR in the 2017 season at 67.1. Most games by a starting quarterback in the playoff history. He is dominant in the playoffs. Most NFL conference championship wins by a starting quarterback, 7. Most NFL conference championship appearances by a starting quarterback, 11. These are impressive stats. Jacksonville, Blake Bortles, their defense is excellent. Offense, not so much.
Right.
Unless Leonard Fournette runs the ball every single time and gets 5 yards of carry, they're going to win the game. Otherwise, Patriots have the second best total yards per game in the NFL at 438. No chance.
I mean, of course, all the numbers are pointing to the Patriots. Like you just said, the key difference to me here is the Jaguars' defense. I think that, and Tom Brady even said it himself in an interview very recently. He said that this is going to be the toughest matchup that their offense has faced the entire season.
Correct.
They have no holes in their defense. It's literally, they're impenetrable. And you can't win a game if you can't score. So, like you said, Leonard Fournette is going to be the star for the Jacksonville offense. And I think if he's able to run the ball like he has recently, I think that they can beat the Patriots for sure.
If Bortles doesn't throw the ball as much as he does run the ball, I think they're going to be in a better shape.
Yeah, I saw NBA GM, an NFL GM said that Blake Bortles is better off as the second string running back than the starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's more of a 2-quarterback system they got there.
Yeah.
All right. And
Jacob from Chicago, he asked, will Lonzo Ball be an all-star by 2020?
you, Zach?
I think this is a very dependent question right here, and it depends on LeBron James. I think LeBron James has a very good chance of going to LA next year. He's talked a lot about it. I don't think Cleveland's going to win the championship this year, so I don't think he has any reason to stay. He won a championship for them already, and I think LA is a great place for him to go, both as a basketball player and as a businessman. And I think that if he goes to LA, that will only help Lonzo Ball. And if he does go to LA, Lonzo Ball will be an all-star by 2020.
The only thing I see by 2020 is Ball and the family being bigger than keeping up with the Kardashians.
Okay, I want to elaborate on this one. So for those viewers who don't know, I'm from Calabasas, hometown of the Kardashians. Personally, I have met Kylie Jenner, and I do believe that the show is on a decline. I do hope that America will realize how influential the Ball family actually is. And since LaMelo and LiAngelo have now moved to Lithuania, Ball and the family will have even more content to produce. The show's just going up. There's nowhere else it can go but up from here. Kardashians, I don't see them moving to Lithuania. I really don't see them going anywhere.
Me neither.
I didn't know this was E-News.
Yeah, well, hey.
Back to Lonzo Ball, though. He's averaging 10 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds this year. I mean, that is very solid, even by a rookie. The only thing that is really given him a lot of doubt from a lot of different experts and people is his field goal percentage and his three-point percentage.
Right.
He's shooting a dismal 36% from the field and 30% from the three-point range. He's shooting below 50% from the free throw line. Like, that can't happen. And the thing is, if you get someone else, another star in the team, because right now he's the main guy in their team. If you get someone else like LeBron and he just passes the ball more, he'll be top 5 in assists in the NBA, and I think that's an automatic all-star.
So, I think Lonzo Ball is a very good player. He missed 6 games ranging from December 25th to January 3rd. That time span, Lakers were 0-6. 6 games, 0-6. Lost them all. That was during that locker room incident. I'm sure you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Since returning, the Lakers are 4-2. He offers a great deal with his franchise. I'm not saying that. Here's where I'm saying. Kyle Kuzma, I think, is the future of this organization. Lonzo Ball, you're saying they bring in LeBron. I think Kuzma's a better player. I see him being an all-star by 2020. He's averaging 16.8 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, 46% field goal, 37.5% from three-point range. That's over Lonzo Ball, but you could argue, Lonzo's 20, Kuzma's 22. Here's the difference. Kuzma's playing well every single game. I watched the Rockets game a couple weeks ago when they played the Lakers. Every shot that Lonzo Ball had, the Rockets just let him take.
Okay. So I'll give you this. Kuzma's a better scorer. 100%.
Right.
He is not a better basketball player. Lonzo Ball, he's a floor general. He sees the floor better than any rookie in the NBA.
No, agreed. His assisting is phenomenal.
He's a playmaker.
That's not going to trade a franchise.
That is that you need a point guard. Point guards run franchises.
Right. But unless you bring in a big player, you say bring in LeBron. I think he has the tools already in LA.
Fair.
They're going to have a good draft pick anyways.
Sure.
So we'll see what they end up getting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure next year you'll find out who the real player is, but I do see LeBron end up going to LA, which, of course, LeBron's there, they're going to win. That's good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But now we're going to move on to 5 Fast Facts with Matt, our new segment for Bizarre Sports Radio. Fact number 1, Tom Brady has started 7 times as many playoff games as the other remaining quarterbacks have combined. So Nick Foles, Case Keenum, and Blake Bortles have all started. I think Brady has started now 36, so just over. They've combined 5 total starts in the playoffs. Brady has 36, so that is over 7 times. Number 2, Nick Foles and Case Keenum both were the quarterbacks for the 2015 7-9 St. Louis Rams. But now they will face each other in the NFC Championship. So a nice little rivalry between them. They used to compete for the starting position. Now they're competing for a spot in the Super Bowl. So stakes have risen. I'd say a lot. Fact number 3: in the last 5 NFL Conference Championship games, the number 1 seed has won every single time. It's good news for the Pats and the Eagles. Well, maybe for the Pats, but Eagles are still the underdogs. Fact number 4: Cleveland Cavaliers are now 2-8 in their last 10 games, marking LeBron's worst 10-game stretch since February 2007.
Hey, LeBron, see that?
Almost 11 years ago to this day. Number 5, Blake Bortles has a .344 win percentage. This is the worst ever by a quarterback entering a conference championship game.
All right, that takes my next point of Patriots are going to win it all. All right, we're going to move on to our next question.
Chance on chemistry.
Exactly.
All right, Jake, we got this question. It says, Jake from State Farm.
They're definitely wearing khakis, let's be real.
Definitely wearing khakis. He asks, what do y'all think of the new seating chart for students at football games for UT?
So Tom Herman stated in October that he was disappointed in why the students aren't showing up, but you could tell why. There's 3-3 at home in 2017. Their offense was terrible. This is going to be great for students, though. Section 29 to 39 is all students. That's ranging from the visitor sidelines of the 50-yard line all the way to where the freshmen sit in the south end zone. Continuous student section will be great for students in general. You can sit wherever you want. Go sit with your friends. You can get better seating if you want to get there earlier. I think it will definitely help people want to go to games more instead of having assigned section seatings when some of the sections aren't that great.
I agree. I like the move too with the band. They're going to move to the southeast side of the stadium.
Move the visiting opponents up in the top of the stands, which will be good, so they can shut up a little bit.
I'll never forget. We played Maryland, and all they were just chanting against us.
Right, you can hear them. You don't want to hear them from the top.
Terrible.
Exactly.
So it's great now for the morale of the team. Great now for the morale of the fans.
Let's move to the next one.
Yeah, things are looking up for UT football. Now, Ethan from Atlanta, he asked, what is the best conference in Division I men's basketball?
Are we talking now or are we talking ever?
We're talking now.
All right, because we're going to talk ever. Zach and I talked about this earlier. ACC for sure. We got Duke, UNC, no chance.
Yeah.
Now, who do we got?
I'm going to say Big 12. Obviously, big fan, Texas fight. If you look at it right now, every Big 12 team has a winning record in college basketball.
At least 10 wins.
All at least 10 wins.
Right, exactly.
And the most amount of losses for any one team is 6. And not to mention, we have 5 teams in the top 25.
With 10 teams, 50%, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
In the ACC, there are 2 teams that are lower than 500. Yeah, they have 14 teams. However, they have 13 teams with at least 10 wins. So,
right. But if you look overall, I think Big 12 is definitely the best conference in college basketball right now.
I agree. Next question.
All right. This one comes from Taylor from Houston. He asked, what should Shaka Smart change in order for Texas to start winning?
All right, so here's some stats for Texas basketball. 73.5 points per game. That's 200th in the nation. 37 rebounds per game, tied 90th. 12.1 assists per game, 291st in the nation. 65.8 points allowed, 43rd. That makes no sense whatsoever. Here's 3 things they need to do. Mo Bamba needs to take over. Stop shooting the 3-pointer. You can't do it. Play Texas basketball. I went to the Kansas game. They played Texas basketball at first half. That's why it was neck and neck. Second half, Kansas comes out, shoots some 3-pointers. What does Texas do? Same exact thing. You can't beat Kansas at their game. Kansas will win every single time. Play your game. That's what they got to do. And speaking of that, number 8, Texas Tech, comes to Austin tonight at 7 p.m. We'll all be in attendance here. Junior guard Kerwin Roach is out with injured left hand, and sophomore guard Andrew Jones at home. He is getting treated for leukemia. We send our best wishes to him.
Absolutely. So what do you think Texas has to do now tonight to face Texas Tech in order to get the win? Obviously, Texas Tech's a good team.
They got to rely on their surprisingly productive bench and some freshmen to help them stay afloat in the stacked Big 12 conference play. No question. And I had to look through an email today, so I heard from San Antonio want to know why Texas students don't care about Longhorn basketball.
I care about Longhorn basketball, so.
I agree. I think a lot of us care about Texas basketball.
I mean, I see what he's saying here. Largest basketball arena in the Big 12, the only one.
It's what may seem like we don't care.
Right. It seems like we don't care as much, but then if you look at it and you look at the games they play, every game at Kansas, no matter who they play, everyone's there. It's a basketball school. We're football. Sure, we can say we're basketball, but until we start winning every single year, competing with Kansas, all these teams, I mean, we're competing now, so you'll see it happen over the course of the next couple of years. But that's why they're in talks of building a new stadium, a new arena. They need a smaller arena to make it appear that they fill every single game, because most of it now is all trying to be into the donor aspect, which is what Texas is all about.
And like we were saying about the Big 12 being the best conference, it's hard to like a team that's at the lower end of a conference. And as good as we believe Texas is and how much potential we have, like you said, if we're going to lose games, the fans aren't going to want to show up.
Right. Next question.
All right. This is our other section. We all
ask each other a question here. We got Zach to Matt here.
All right. So Matt, obviously you're a Dodgers fan, big Dodgers fan from LA. So does the acquisition of both McCutchen and Evan Longoria to the Giants, does that bother you as a Dodgers fan? Does it frighten you?
Absolutely not. So my rationale is with the Giants, what they need most. Well, they're in complete rebuild mode. Let's not lie. They had one of the worst seasons I've ever seen.
Astros didn't.
All right. Well, a little uncalled for, but Giants still suck. I'll go with that. They need to fix everything. They have no pitching. They have no batting. Sure, they'll fix maybe a few bats here and there with Longoria and McCutchen, but look, McCutchen's not the player he was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, he was hitting .327. He was an all-star. Now he's hitting mid-270s. His home runs are still up there, but unfortunately, he's going to San Francisco. AT&T Park is one of the worst hitters' park, if not the worst.
They don't hit homers there.
Well, they got the wind from the ocean coming in.
And you're at the lowest elevation, too, at 0 feet sea level.
Right, exactly.
So I don't think they're a threat right now. Obviously, if they start to fix their bullpen, if they start to fix their starting rotation, maybe they'll be good again. But for now, you can't win games with just two players. So they still got to work on.
Dodgers are so young too.
Yeah,
it's so amazing though how the Giants just dropped off. They were a playoff team.
Remember Tim Lincecum? Tim Lincecum was there. What 5-6 years ago was an MVP. No one knows where he is now.
I mean, the Giants were winning every other year.
Right, Buster Posey.
2010, 2012, 2014.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, who knows though? 2018, it's an even year. Giants like to do this little even year stuff.
They do like
so do the Cubs though. Don't forget.
They do like to do that.
Ooh.
But
what was it before that? 2016. What was it before?
1908.
All right, even year.
Chicago Cubs 2018 champions, maybe.
Or Astros 2018 champions.
Yeah, but
Jarrett Cole.
You don't get too nervous.
Yeah. As much as I'd love to talk about how I hate the Giants, we got to move on to our next question. So this one,
Matt to Zach here.
Yep. Zach, why are the Chicago Bulls struggling so much this year?
Well, I wouldn't even call it struggling. I don't think we are struggling. Look at it. We got to look at it this way. We went into rebuilding mode the second we traded Jimmy Butler away, and we did re-sign Dwayne Wade. And we got Laurie Markin in the draft. We traded for Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, both young players, both really proving themselves this year, both coming out of their shell. They're looking really good. So for a team that tried to be tanking at the beginning of the year, I'd say we're doing the opposite of struggling. I think we're looking much better than anyone thought we would at this point. And we're doing so well. Actually, I don't even think we're gonna get a good draft pick next year, which is kind of sad. But we'll see. I think the Bulls have a bright future. They have a lot of young stars. Haven't lost a game yet with Zach LaVine in the lineup. So let's see how they do.
We'll see how they do.
Yeah.
We shall see. And my question is going to be to both of y'all. New news out of Florida today: Lane Kiffin hired 24-year-old Charlie Weiss Jr. to be his offensive coordinator next year. What do y'all think? Bold move?
I like it. I think it's a great move. I love having young coaches. I love the new ideas they can bring. Like, look at Sean McVay in LA. Matt, you could definitely speak to that.
I love Sean McVay. Big upgrade from Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
35 years old, youngest head coach in the league.
Exactly.
He definitely does know a lot about football. I mean, you look at him. His dad was a former Notre Dame coach and NFL assistant, Charlie Weiss. He went to Florida with it when his dad had coached there, and then moved to University of Kansas, graduated with a degree in psychology in 2015. Since then, the amount of stuff that he has done, He's worked as an offensive assistant for the Atlanta Falcons this past season. He was an offensive analyst at Alabama under Kiffin. He worked as a tight ends coach at Florida Atlantic before he got the job as the Falcons coach. And he'll be replacing Kendall Briles, son of Art Briles, who took the offensive coordinator job at Houston. I think this 24-year-old hire, I kind of like it. Like you said, new ideas. And he'll be ready to be a head coach by 2080. You can even see a head coach at 28 years old now.
Yeah.
If these guys are getting groomed this early, don't be shocked to see one soon.
And I think Lane Kiffin, obviously, he worked with Lane Kiffin. Kiffin knows what he's doing. He knows the mind that this kid has. So obviously, he has a bright future in football. We need to see how it plays out, but there's a lot of potential here, and I think it's a great hire by Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, they looked good last year, and Florida Atlantic was a team to be reckoned with. We'll see how they do this year. I mean, they're jumping on that Lane train. No one's watching. No one's watching.
All right, well, we're bringing this back to you. We have a question for you. What do you think about the women's basketball performance against UConn, and what does it say for the Lady Longhorns?
That was a fun game to go to. That was a really fun game. The atmosphere was electric the entire game. Everyone was standing up. It was what a Kansas basketball game would seem like almost. Now, we ended up losing that game, but it is UConn. UConn missed one free throw. If you miss one free throw, you're going to win every single game. Let's be real. I mean, Texas basketball, I think we were 45% from free throw range. I mean,
yeah,
you got to get a little bit better than that. And if they would have made 85% of their free throws, we would have won.
Yeah, we only lost by 4 points, 85-81.
So losing to UConn, nothing bad about it. I think it should put some spark into their lives right now. They should be.
Sure.
We don't just beat UConn. We can beat anyone. Sure, maybe we just lost to UConn by 4 or 5, but if they can almost beat UConn, they can beat anyone. And I think they have phenomenal upside. I think they can beat anyone. Even if they played UConn again, they hit their free throws smarter from 3-point range. Look like Texas basketball to be real from 3-point range because they just kept shooting when they were 0 for 8 at one point. They play their basketball, they're going to beat anyone. That's for any team. You look at any sport. You play your game, you're going to win. Look at just any sport.
Yeah, I want to add on to this though. So obviously, you think they can beat anyone. They can come up big in clutch situations. Obviously, they're number 9 seed right now. They're going to make the tournament. You think they can come up big in the tournament and win the tournament?
Tournament's a different aspect. It's a whole different ball game. You see teams that you wouldn't expect to beat top teams end up overcoming the adversity and winning.
Like Mississippi State last year, beating UConn, upsetting them and breaking
Right,
them.
exactly. It's a whole new ball game. In my opinion, you look at this regular season, you have the tournament. They're 2 different seasons. The regular season is playing to get into the tournament.
Yeah.
I think it's for every sport except for the NFL. I think the NFL is usually the best team will win. Whoever has a better defense, whoever has a better quarterback is going to win. That being said, college basketball, Zach's disagreeing with me here for a second, but he'll be able to voice his opinion in a second. That being said, March Madness is a whole different ballgame. Whoever comes to play will win. It's not whoever has a better players. If you come to play, you make your shots, you get rebounds, assists, you're going to win. There's nothing to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best part of sports is that it isn't the better team that always wins.
Right, exactly.
I mean, any given day could see any team win. That's what I love about professional sports. I mean, I honestly can make an argument for all 4 teams that are still in the NFL playoffs to win the Super Bowl. I can make a strong case for all 4 of them to win the Super Bowl.
There's definitely, you have Minnesota's playing to be the first team ever to play on their home field. That's a huge...
With a second-ranked defense, or some would even argue the best defense.
And honestly, Case Keenum looks phenomenal behind center.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You have Latavius Murray, running back. Thaleen, wide receiver. He's exceptional.
Yeah.
He truly is.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone on the Minnesota stepped up. You hear these guys last year, 2017 or 2016 season, Case Keenum, backup quarterback.
Right.
Adam Thielen, he's a nobody. Literally everyone on the team has just stepped up immensely, and they're all performing incredible. It's like you don't expect them to be so good, but they mesh perfectly together.
Right. The only person that I would argue against possibly is Nick Foles and the Eagles. Now, I'm not going to say that the Eagles don't have a chance, but Nick Foles is not the best. I think Blake Bortles is better suited with the team that he has to win instead of Nick Foles. I don't think he has the same team around him. He's missing a left tackle. Jacksonville is better suited with a better running game. They have great wide receivers. They have pretty darn good wide receivers. Nick Foles is the only guy in the Eagles who, I'm not going to say they're underdogs because they are playing like underdogs and they're winning. That's their whole mentality. They look good. But that's the only team I have in question of who's truly susceptible this postseason.
Yeah, I'd say so. Ever since they lost Wentz, everything just seemed to go downhill for the Eagles. But somehow they still put together wins, and I'm very impressed with how Nick Foles has performed, at least in these past 3 games.
Doug Peterson's a great coach. He truly is. He knows what he's doing. He's turned the Eagle organization around. They're missing Carson Wentz, but man, is he a player.
Oh, yeah.
You got some good quarterbacks in the league. Next year you have Carson Wentz for sure. Minnesota Vikings have 3 quarterbacks, if you think about it. 3 quarterbacks. Case Keenum.
Sam Bradford.
Right, Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
I mean, people were wondering why nobody's signing Colin Kaepernick when all the backups suck. All the backup quarterbacks who are good are on the Vikings.
That's a great point. And that also brings up now, what do you do with the quarterbacks? You have Teddy Bridgewater who just come back from injury after that horrific.
A lot of players. Or you keep at least one of them and trade one of them away, get some players. And unfortunately, we're out of time. Make sure to check out our website, BazarSportsRadio.com, in order to learn more about the show, submit a question, or listen to our previous shows. Again, BazarSportsRadio.com. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Will Bazarski, Matt Hand, Zach Dolan, signing off for the night. See you all next week.